A greener heart for Atlanta. That's the vision for the Midtown Connector Transportation Improvement Project to solve significant traffic challenges and create a safe and accessible city for all, while bringing a one-of-its-kind park space to Atlanta's epicenter. A proposed public-private partnership, the Midtown Connector Transportation Improvement Project, would integrate significant surface and interstate transportation improvements with an elevated park over the portion of I-75/85 known as the Connector, from North Avenue to 10th Street. Let's take a look at the proposed benefits and how we will make it happen, creating a greener heart for Atlanta. But first, a look back. Construction of the connector began in the early 1950s with massive expansion in the 70s and 80s. The interstate system improved connectivity among cities and regions, but it divided Midtown in two. Now, East Midtown is defined by art venues and high-rise office and residential towers. West Midtown houses the academic, commercial, and residential neighborhoods associated with Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is also divided by the highway, with Tech Square on the east and its main campus and sports venues on the west. The division of this Atlanta neighborhood has led to three key challenges: traffic and safety, access and mobility, and green space and the environment. Without an innovative solution, the connector risks stunting Midtown's and ultimately the region's trajectory as a leader in smart urban growth and development. From congestion both on and surrounding the interstate, to limited connectivity between communities, to poor environmental outcomes, a comprehensive solution is needed to address these challenges. Conflicting exits and entrance ramps in this area, along with high traffic volumes during peak periods, create friction between local and through traffic and contribute to crashes, leading to some of the heaviest congestion in the region's interstate system. Narrow shoulders limit safe places for disabled vehicles to pull over, which hinders safety and mobility. Before the connector was built, there were 25 surface streets that ran east to west across Midtown, enabling cars, pedestrians, and bicycles to travel relatively freely and efficiently through the area. Today, only 5 of those cross streets remain. Consequently, much of the traffic on the connector is actually local, people using the connector to travel relatively short distances within Midtown, yet adding to the number of cars on the interstate. In addition, a lack of green space, extensive amounts of impervious surfaces, and high traffic volumes decrease air and water quality, increase noise levels, stormwater runoff, and heat island effects, and compromise public health and well-being. Our project area is focused on what research shows is one of the most gridlocked sections of the connector, what was supposed to be an interchange. Our goal is to make this stretch of the connector efficient and more accessible. While many solutions could seek to address these challenges individually, one has emerged as the most effective and inspiring opportunity for our region's long-term health and growth: the Midtown Connector Transportation Improvement Project. So how do we get this done? We recognized early that this will require partners across the public and private sectors. We will engage many stakeholders and have already been receiving technical support and guidance from Georgia Tech, GDOT, the Midtown Alliance, and others. We also have an incredible internal team in place called the MCP Foundation and have engaged a deep field of subject matter experts from a wide variety of disciplines to ensure excellence in project analysis and delivery. The foundation team is 2 years into a 3-year feasibility study to determine the project's technical and financial viability. By concurrently working on the feasibility steps, a process that normally takes 5 to 7 years has been whittled down to a 3-year window. We began this process 2 years ago, establishing our nonprofit development foundation and assessing the problems and needs of the project. We have spent the last year preparing conceptual plans for the integrated transportation and open space networks, working closely with GDOT to ready the necessary documents for a potential federal government funding request. After completion of designs and local funding commitments for a shovel-ready effort in 2021, the budget decision-making process will occur in 2022, and construction will then hopefully begin in 2023. Contingent upon this timeline, the project would be built over 3 years using a public-private partnership and could be open by the end of 2025. One of the first steps in our feasibility study was to review similar projects in other major cities. Inspiration for the Midtown Connector Transportation Improvement Project was taken from more than 30 completed projects in major cities across the country. Their successes and challenges have informed our work every step of the way, from design to financial sustainability. 5 of these were particularly enlightening. In Dallas, Clyde Warren Park is a 5.2-acre park over an existing freeway that uses a similar private nonprofit entity to deliver and manage the park. It was also funded by a 50-50 public-private partnership. In Chicago, Millennium Park is similar in size to the Midtown project at 24.5 acres over a roadway, railway, and parking garage. It welcomes 20 million visitors per year. Duluth, Minnesota's Park Place gracefully transitions from the downtown streetscape, is tucked tightly against historic and modern buildings, and employs simple, elegant infrastructure to achieve its seamlessly integrated park and transportation purposes. Seattle's Freeway Park is a 20-plus acre park over existing freeway with similar site conditions and traffic problems to those in Midtown. At nearly 45 years old, this project highlights the opportunities and challenges faced along the full lifespan of a project of this magnitude. Another project closely examined by our team was the Rose Kennedy Greenway in Boston, also known as the Big Dig. While the structure and design for Boston is far more complex than our project demands, the transformation of this district sets an attractive model for the objectives we've set forth. It has reconnected downtown to its historic harborfront and is visited by millions of people annually. It has reduced travel times and reduced neighborhood noise and stormwater runoff. Hundreds of new residential units have been built within a block of the park, reflecting its value as a recreational and cultural amenity. Armed with these valuable lessons learned and a thorough understanding of our region's specific challenges and opportunities, we created our project goals. 1. To improve traffic flow and safety on the connector. 2. To reestablish the local street network. 3. To provide robust, safe, and connected pedestrian and cyclist access. 4. To establish a park with a dynamic and sustainable urban outdoor green space experience for all. 5. To create a natural ecosystem that reduces the impacts of the freeway environment. 6. To reconnect, expand, and improve Georgia Tech operations and aspirations. And 7. To sustain and expand the economic vitality of Atlanta and the broader region. So let's get into the specifics of how we would create this oasis in the heart of our city. Our plan calls for reconfiguring key interchanges in the project area, including replacing exit ramp 249D to North Avenue and northbound exit ramp 250 to 10th and 14th Streets with a one-way couplet adjacent to the connector. This couplet would connect to I-75, exit 250, and I-85, exit 84 in the southbound direction, and exit 251A in the northbound direction. Modernizing shoulder and lane widths through this segment of the connector to improve safety and operations. Creating a continuous bridge deck structure with multiple pedestrian and bicycle connections across the connector to accommodate the new roadway street network and environmental improvements. Reconnecting 3 cross streets that were eliminated decades ago during construction of the connector on top of the deck structure, and implementing environmental roadside enhancements including approximately 25 acres of new park space and a stormwater capture and filtration system. In addition, the tunnel below the park would be equipped with a state-of-the-art exhaust ventilation system, emergency egress stairways, a fire suppression system, and a tunnel monitoring system with security cameras. The tunnel would also have vehicle incident detection technology, a smoke and fire detection system, a public announcement system, and emergency messaging signage, making this stretch of roadway safer than ever before. Our studies show these planned changes to the region's traffic flow would improve southbound vehicle throughput on the connector by up to 13%, northbound vehicle throughput on the connector by up to 37%. Overall intersection performance would improve by 60% in the study area. Crashes at the connector's entrance and exit ramps would be reduced by 52%, and Midtown area street and intersection crash rates would decrease by 15%. When it comes to access and mobility, the connector crossing street network would be expanded by 100%. 6 out of 10 area intersections would perform better and more safely. The local area street network would be increased by 150%, and interconnected pedestrian and bike access would be expanded by more than 3.5 miles. As we design with nature in mind, we will celebrate the contrast and cohabitation of city life, urbanization, and the natural environment. That includes bringing in the elements of earth, water, sun, and sky to the park's design. Imagine that Atlanta's newest park is a one-of-a-kind public green space, open to all, free year-round. The 25-acre footprint mirrors the curves of the freeway below, marked by fluctuating grades and elevations. Native plants and trees interspersed with reflecting ponds and fountains would create a picturesque natural landscape with plenty of outdoor seating, inviting visitors to rest and enjoy the scenery. A ground-level trail will weave across the length of the park, while a fully accessible elevated serpentine pathway will invite visitors to explore the full length of the park without having to navigate traffic from cross streets. The park's initial design calls for a host of amenities, including 2 playgrounds, a children's garden, a dog park, 2 cafes, and a 4,000-seat amphitheater that would host local, regional, and national events. Through this design, we would realize environmental benefits, including significantly improved air quality. Plus, approximately 25 acres of new parkland would be added back to green space inventory. 2.7 million gallons of storm rainfall would be captured, cleaned, and stored for self-sustaining reuse. CO2 would be reduced from the atmosphere through landscape absorption and storage. Heat island temperatures would be reduced by 14 degrees through natural ecology. Connector vehicle exhaust would be captured and cleaned through tunnel filter and ventilation, and highway traffic noise would be eliminated for almost a mile in all directions. So how will we fund this transformational project? At the 2/3 point of the feasibility study, construction of this project is estimated to cost between $800 million and $1.2 billion based on conceptual planning to date. The project has a broad range of benefits, so it would likely comprise a broad mix of public and private funding sources, including federal and state dollars, and civic, private, and philanthropic contributions. We also have a thoughtful and thorough plan to ensure the project's long-term sustainability, which focuses on raising corporate and sponsorship dollars up front. Annual operations funding is expected from public, private, and civic partners. We would also see a modest amount of earned revenue through retail and concession sales. In addition, certain revenue would be invested in an endowment that would generate interest income in support of the park's operations and maintenance for years to come. The project would have a significant economic benefit, creating a shovel-ready project, spurring additional development in the area, and by increasing commercial throughput. We expect to create up to 17,000 construction jobs, create 45,000 to 55,000 permanent jobs, ease the flow of goods and services through the connector, enhance real estate values, reconnect Midtown neighborhoods spurring new retail, residential, and commercial development, and create a connected Georgia Tech to further establish the university as an academic destination for high-potential students. According to analysis by the Georgia Tech Center for Economic Development Research, once complete, the net positive fiscal impact generated by the project would be more than $24 million annually to the City of Atlanta, Atlanta Public Schools, and Fulton County. We have already begun to involve the public in our planning. In 2020, we held a public information open house where we received input on the project from 4,000 people. The feedback we have and will continue to receive is the guidance that drives our design. As we will share in more detail in future community conversations, this project provides a new vision for equity, ecology, environment, experience, and economy in Atlanta and the entire region. Equity, creating inclusive places and spaces accessible to everyone all the time. Ecology, creating an environment that is harmonious, sustainable, and resilient. Environment, creating a seamless transportation network and innovative park. Experience, creating a new, diverse, and adaptable connector that brings us together. Economy, creating broad-based benefits beyond everyday use of the streets and park. So what's next? We hope you'll join us for our next session called Inspiring Inspiration, where we'll dive deeper into how this project was developed and the projects around the world that inspired and informed our work. This will be followed by detailed presentations of the themes that will define a greener heart for Atlanta. Free to Move. We'll explain how our project would allow residents and visitors to move more freely around our city with improved mobility. Places and Spaces to Explore. We'll show how this new destination would provide inviting, immersive options for outdoor adventure and escape, enhancing mental and physical health and enriching social connections. Healthier for All. We'll talk about the vision for an environmentally sustainable oasis and prepare to prosper. We'll describe how this new connectivity would foster collaboration that would grow business and power our economy. The changes to the city's landscape proposed through this project would address many of the challenges our community currently faces around transportation infrastructure, equitable access to green space, and economic growth and opportunity. We believe the Midtown Connector Transportation Improvement Project would bend the curve of history for our region through this visionary initiative. Thanks for watching. We hope you'll come back for our next community conversation and visit our website at abetterconnector.com. Your input is vital to the success of this project.